started, me and Tom were sort of like essentially high school rivals, and you know, one of us was playing in like a metal band, one of us was playing in like a psychedelic acid rock band. We found Jake Sarek with like 6-foot mutton chops, like shredding on bass, and then Kevin, who went to school with Tom, was busy mastering all things Kant, philosophy, etc., Aristotle, Plato. And then Josh was kind of one of those guys that you hear sing, and you're like, oh my god, like, you know, I need this guy in a band. This guy's belting out high E's, and the guy's a dynamic vocalist. And you know, when you're forming a band, usually, you know, you're just looking for that lineup, you know what I mean? And I think once everybody was like in that right spot, pull the trigger.
Living in the west side of Chicago, not the greatest neighborhood. For instance, we were coming home from a band practice one evening, and we got chased around by some insane Latin gang. Just, you know, threats of violence all over the place. Just kind of a hailstorm of a city. So
it was actually terrible, terrifying. I mean,
it's like the worst place you could possibly live on earth. And with all band names, you go through like, you know, like the flying refrigerators, you know, the gold top muffins,
dumpster,
you know, and then eventually we're like, well, bad city. Somebody said it like it was one of those things like, I say city and then he says bad city. It sounds good, you know, and so
it just fit.
We kind of went with that.
One of the best producers in the world. He gave us like way too much time to work on the record. He just basically gave us free reign of his studio and just oversaw the whole process and made sure that, you know, everything turned out.
Unbelievable band, huge influence on us, you know. If you broke down the Bad City sound, you know, the guitar sound especially, you know, that super high gain, buzzsaw, big muff, you know, guitar tone that we use a lot in the record, that's totally Smashing Pumpkins. And so seeing that every night, you know, it's kind of like rock and roll college, or like going to a lecture in rock and roll and seeing BC just like shred his Stratocaster right in your face, and you know, and talking to him and asking him questions about, you know, it's a learning experience. And it's also you know, the people that you thought were like rock gods when you were younger, you know, you find out are just like regular cool guys that you can learn a lot from. They're just masters of the business. I mean, inspiration's always one of those weird things because it's like, well, life's my inspiration or whatever. But I mean, for us, it's just like rock and roll. We always compare our sound to a rock and roll cauldron. You only really listen to rock and roll. I really only have a knowledge about rock music. I couldn't tell you the first thing about, you know, the history of electronic music or the history of hip hop or anything like that. But you know, we're all like rock and roll dorks essentially. You know what I mean? And what we do is we mix, you know, everything that we like about, you know, the canonical 40 years of rock and roll. Boston and Queen, Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, the White Stripes, Def Leppard, Kiss. Throw it together in a, you know, a pot, see how it sticks.